Welcome to Shorty SuperCoach, and today we're going to take a look at all the relevant rucks. Now, obviously, we would have had some footy last night. I'm filming this one on Thursday morning, so hopefully all went well with your SuperCoach side last night. It's just great to have footy back, and of course, it's a big weekend of footy. Hopefully, you're getting to a game. I'm not this weekend, which I'm spewing about, just with work, and the Cats are playing in Adelaide as well. But today I just wanted to look at all the relevant rucks, which I've done with the mids, the backs, the forwards. I was jam-packed with videos this week, and I just thought it's probably not a disaster if the ruck video comes out on the Friday, because there's not too many relevant ones in Thursday night's game. So let's jump straight into it. And for what it's worth, a question I got asked a bit on the live stream was, sort of Meek, Flynn, Hunter, which ones do I go with? How many? Who? What? Where? I think Flynn, because he'll get a much longer crack at being the first ruck. I think he is on top of that list for mine, then Hunter, then Meek. That's just in my opinion. And it really, I've got no idea what they could score. It's mainly just a opinion based around how much opportunity they'll get to be the sole ruck. And that generally leads to better scores. And with Bruce out for such a long time, if Flynn's good enough, then he'll have that ruck for, possibly the first 10, 12 weeks. Who knows? So, it could be crucial. But I'm going to talk about everyone who's in at least 2% of sides, because if that's the case, then someone out there is thinking about them, and I'm going to talk about them. So, off the top, we've got Gawn and Grundy. And look, let's start with Gawn. 49% of sides, and I can almost talk about these two guys as a team, because a lot of coaches out there do have them together. Now, the major differences between the two, $100,000. That's about it. I honestly feel like they'll average similar. I know Grundy was a little bit off last year, but he didn't love the hub, and Gawn was thriving. He played amazing. Average of 140. That's insane. I think the gap between those two averages will close quite significantly. I would see, maybe 5 points difference between them, and Grundy could out-average Gawn. That's a genuine possibility. So I guess my thoughts on that combination is that if you go and set and forget, I don't blame you. That's fair enough. If you want to have a dabble at some other guys, then also that is fair enough. I mean, there are people floating Flynn at R2, which is ballsy, but some people are that way inclined. So for me, the only reason it wasn't any sort of a knock on Gawn, it wasn't any sort of a knock on Grundy. Obviously I've got Grundy, but it was mainly just the fact that to spend $750K, it just threw out other areas of the ground for me, and I prefer, I've thrown Gawn in there just to see what it looks like, and I prefer how my side looks with him out of it and some other areas bolstered. So that's how it is, but the fact is with the rucks, you'll need them both at some stage in the year, so you've got to have some sort of a plan. And then really, I'm going to sort of fly by through these guys, and the fact is Goldstein, Nick Nat, Reilly O'Brien, the fact is they're in 4, 8, 7% of sides. They're good options that'll score well, but they're sort of nothing selections. Like, they're priced, anywhere from, 50 to 80 to 150 to 180,000 difference between Gawn and Grundy, but they're not going to be the top two rucks. Particularly Nick Nat, injury concerns. Goldstein's getting older. I probably think O'Brien's the best selection of the three, but I mean he's not going to be any value to you. It's not like you're picking him to make money, and he's also not going to outscore Grundy or Gawn. So for me, it's a nothing selection, because let's play it out. If you have Gawn and O'Brien for the whole year instead of Gawn and Grundy for the whole year, I think O'Brien will probably average, let's say, 105, and Grundy averages 120 again. Then, in essence, you're losing 15 points every week. You've still got a guy scoring good numbers, but that's why they're set and forget. That's why they're the top two, because they are going to outscore these guys. So they're a bit nothing selections for mine. Marshall, we know the deal. I mentioned him in the forwards. He's injured. Tim English, I wouldn't be considering him, particularly the fact that Stef Martin's come to the club. You've pretty much got to rule English out, because he's going to share a bit of the workload. So that's not what we want for our big rucks. Jarrod Witts, he's a bit of a fan favourite. He shoulders the workload. He's an absolute workhorse, but again, he's 500k, doesn't really offer much value for mine, and his ceiling just isn't that high. I think maximum we could get an average of like 101, 102, but nah, he's a no for mine. And then I think McAvoy, I think that 3% is probably more regarding the back line, but I wouldn't be thinking about it. Oscar McInerney, not the worst of options. We're starting to get a little cheaper now, 443. Again, if he's almost in that range where, maybe you're saving 200k, 300k, all right, I can see you thinking. The only thing I'd say is that the Lions do like to play a setup that does see a fair bit of help in the ruck, like we saw Danaher help quite a bit, but more or less McInerney will be the main man. So I understand the thinking, but also I wouldn't be sitting here and encouraging it. And Pittonet obviously will have already played, and 2% of people will be wondering how he went. So I had a fella on the live session who was rolling with him and was really quite confident about him as a POD. So I'll be very interested to see how he goes. He's not for mine, but it'd be interesting to see how he goes. And Nankervis, 2% of sides, no idea why that is the case. And as we work our way further down, you really start to get into no man's land. And then you've got Draper, who, of course, is in my side. And he's probably an example of a guy that I think's got huge upside. I think the ruck's pretty simple. I think you're either going, in my opinion, Gawn and Grundy, or you're going one of those two guys and Draper. I think Draper around this price range that most people look at in that stepping stone range, I think he's clearly the best. It was Bruce. Some will look at Stef Martin, but I'll touch on him in a minute. He's not really my cup of tea. So I think Draper's going to absolutely warm to this number one ruck role. Finally gets the opportunity to do it all himself, and I think he's ready. As long as that body just holds up, I think he's absolutely ready. So, but a lot of how I go this year will be quite based on his success. So we'll have to wait and see. Again, Jenkins, no idea what's going on there. And it does bring us to Stef Martin in the 9% of teams. Why aren't I a fan of Stef? Well, I think he's in the absolute latter stages of his career, twilight stages. He's come to the doggies as a real insurance sort of horses for courses type of guy. I think there'll be games where he does ruck most of the time, where they feel like English just can't quite wrestle his way to the front and work against a big ruckman. Hey, it could happen tonight against the Pies, but there will also be days where Stef Martin plays largely forward and just scores 56, you know what I mean? So I think the days of him averaging really good numbers are behind him. And, 270, he's cheap. He will make you money. But I do fear there'll be quite a lot of inconsistency in his scoring. And I was more than happy to go up to Draper. So that was my thinking behind that. Reilly Thilthorpe, again, I don't even know if he's going to be selected. We'll have to wait and see. Some people might be, of that 6%, it might be in the forward line. I'm not sure, but wait and see on the teams there. But it doesn't really do too much for me. Fullarton, I'll probably, I think 10% of teams. Again, good dual position. Don't mind that at all. I think he'll get some opportunities with McStay not playing. So you could do a hell of a lot worse. But personally, like I touched on off the top, I think Flynn's your man. He's been waiting for this opportunity for ages, gets his chance, and the floor is his. With the Saints, you've got Ryder coming back at any point in time. Marshall is sort of 2 to 4 away. Meek, Darcy's probably going to be right for round 2. So, he's going to be sharing the ruck where Flynn seemingly is going to shoulder most of it. So I think he's a no-brainer in your team, whether that's R2 or R3. Well, you can make that one up yourself, but I'm more comfortable with him at R3. So that's all there is to it for the rucks. I think it's pretty simple, as it is most years with the set and forget types of Gawn and Grundy. They've been a huge topic of conversation for quite a few years now. If you're not going with them, then you've got to find a stepping stone that can score you good points, but also make you solid money. in the hope that one of those top two drop just a little bit in price. Even 70, 80,000 would be okay, you know. So just weigh up your options, see how your side looks with both scenarios, and go for your life. But I'll be back pretty soon. We'll have a couple more videos to go, but I think Saturday will be my last I've had a massive run of videos coming out, you know, particularly this week, but I'll have a bit of a AFL season predictions on Saturday, and then we'll just be back for the press conference on Sunday or Monday. So, and then we'll probably just work into your more routine kind of week where I just have my press conference and I'll go live one night a week. And if I feel the need, you know, something perks me interest, I'll do another video throughout. But I'd say 2 to 3 videos will be the go throughout the season proper. So hopefully this video has helped you. Hopefully these videos throughout the pre-season have helped you a lot. I've certainly loved producing them. It's kept me busy, but it's also been great to see the numbers going in the right direction and get a bit of engagement with you guys too on the live session. So thanks again. I'll chat to you soon. Cheers.